one of those days. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Happy day after the 4th of July. Did y'all enjoy your holiday? Did you have a great time? Did you enjoy the day off? Did you do something wholesome like listen to Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio and me broadcasting the Independence Day Invitational? I don't know, maybe. But you're here right now. Fantasy Alarm, MLB DFS show. I'm obviously Howard Bender. With me here, James Grande, and we're here to talk about Friday's Mamba Jamba 12-game slate. We got Coors Field on the menu. There's a whole lot going on here. So first and foremost, James, hi, how are you? How was your 4th of July?
My 4th of July was pretty below average. I dog sat for a couple hours. And then we came home, had my son not feeling too well. Had some shots yesterday, so the post shot day, under the weather. So it's could be better, but we're here on a good Friday slate. Happy Friday, TGIF to all. And again, like you said, 12 games, Coors Field. So I'm ready to get into it.
Beautiful. All right, let's get into it then. By the way, I'm sorry that Orion wasn't feeling well, but you know what? Spending your time consoling your dog as well during 4th of July, 100%. I got 3 at home, and they hate the fireworks. So, yeah, hate it. All right, let's start off here. Let's get to the pitching on the slate here. A couple of nice names sitting up at the top, Tanner Houck, but on the road against the Yankees. Walker Buehler really hasn't been all that great. Can't believe he's 9,600 here at home against the Milwaukee Brewers. Pablo Lopez hosting the Houston Astros. And then I'll tell you what, probably the matchup that I like the most out of like these, over 9K. I don't even like the Max Fried against Philadelphia, although I don't hate it. Tanner Bybee against San Francisco at home. That's my call here. I don't know as far as like if I'm paying up. Where are you at?
I largely agree. I wouldn't hate getting to Houck. I know typically that would worry people. And obviously 3 home runs last start worries you when you're going into a Yankees start. But let's face facts. Like you and I both root for the Yankees. And they are not good right now. 5-14 over their last 19 games. You have to worry about their top 3. I mean, with Ben Rice leading off, he homered his first home run on the Thursday slate. But like if Judge and Soto don't go yard, there has not been a lot of production. And how on the year, I mean, outside of that one start, if you exclude this last start where he allowed 7 earned, he's allowed 2 home runs the rest of the year, right? So I'm okay getting to Houck to be a little contrarian. He'll be very low owned on a 12-game slate against the Yankees. I agree on the Bybee front. No interest in Walker Buehler, not even if there was a fire. No chance. He's been terrible, and he's coming off the IL, which means Dave Roberts is the manager, managing his pitches. Forget that.
Yeah, was he gonna throw 65 pitches in this one and go home?
Yeah. Yeah, in the Dave Roberts special. I have been touting Pablo Lopez positive regression for a while. We've gotten that over the last couple starts. A lot of indicators going into these last 2 starts that he was going to turn it around. A lot of it, peripheral numbers were bad luck. Obviously, Seattle-Oakland is different than Houston. So tournament only play, but I think Bybee's the top dog here. San Francisco is good against lefties. They are having a pretty good performance on the Thursday slate as we record. They already have a couple home runs off Charlie Morton. And obviously, San Francisco is kind of feast or famine in general when it comes to their lineup. I mean, Matt Chapman, Jorge Soler hitting in the middle or atop their lineup says it all, right? Those are very feast or famine players. But Bybee has not really struggled too much, especially lately. I mean, over his last 10 starts, 2.84 ERA, 22 fantasy points per game, well over a strikeout per inning. So I agree on the Bybee front. And then like the rest of the tier is just like tournament plays. I think the 8K tier is a little bit intriguing though, Howard.
I think it is too. Nestor Cortez lining up against that heavy lefty Boston lineup. I definitely don't hate that. I'll tell you what, though, and I don't even I would probably even do it in a cash game. Yeah, Cole Reagan's
I
even
I know it.
even in Coors Field, everybody's going to be like, no, 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 Coors Field, Coors Field. Cole Reagan's is a $9,600 pitcher who's sitting here at
Correct.
8,500 because he's there. He's got great swing and miss stuff. I mean, this guy's got like a 14-15% swinging strike rate. Yeah, he got beaten up in his last start, but Cole Reagan's has been fantastic. And this is just such a terrible lineup for the Rockies that I think that you almost have to take this discount that you're getting. Whether you think that the Royals are going to score a ton of runs off of Kyle Freeland and company or not, I think Reagan's is probably that first look. I have no interest in Gossman. Gossman, even with the strikeout upside, Gossman's been atrocious. I put him on the fantasy baseball stock watch last week, talking about what he's been doing, and it has just been awful. So I'm Cortez I could do, but I really think even in the face of Coors Field, Cole Reagan's is where I go.
Yeah, and that's when I mentioned how interesting it was, that was the first name that popped for me because you don't see Cole Reagan's at 8,200. You don't.
No.
Like we don't. So I largely agree. And you brought up like his last start was against Cleveland, who's a top tier offense against left-handed pitching. Colorado, even like when factoring in the Coors Field splits, I mean, they're striking out 25% of the time. That's the fifth highest mark in baseball against Southpaw. So that says it all. And anytime you can get Cole Reagan's discounted and anytime you can get him at potentially low ownership, I'm in. I will throw this name at you and I want to know what your thoughts are. I'm a little intrigued by Aaron Nola. And obviously this is a much better year than it was last year. When you look at the Braves, and this is kind of why I was interested in Logan Webb on the Thursday slate, they don't really hit right-handed pitching well. Like their lineup is very heavily constructed to hit lefties. I mean, Albies is a lefty split masher. Austin Riley, notoriously a lefty split masher. Adam Duvall has like one hit against right-handed pitching this year. It's a really kind of good spot. And you even look at the Braves as a team against right-handed pitching this year. I mean, they're middle of the pack, 15th in OPS, 150 ISO, middle of the pack. The 24% strikeout rate, and that's factoring in with Ronald Acuna, right? Like that, all these statistics are with Ronald Acuna factored in. So I'm not shying away from Nola at 88. Another guy that I think, when he's going really well, which he has over his last couple starts, is a 9K plus, nearly a 10K pitcher. So I have a little bit of interest in Nola in tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, listen, his last two starts have been fantastic. I think he's got three quality starts in a row that he's thrown 20 strikeouts in his last two. My only concern, and listen, I get it. Like this is a much softer Braves lineup. But I mean, like, Detroit and Miami. I mean, those are not those are barely AAA ball clubs there. So while I get you on Nola going up against a softer Braves lineup, I do have some pause there. It'd probably be a tournament play for me. Not cash.
Okay. That sounds good.
Further down the list here, looking under the 8K range, is there anybody that you like? Obviously, Drew Thorpe against Miami probably stands out for some strikeout upside there. Are there any names below there that kind of tilt you? Like I don't want, like Boz. I don't want to go like his first game back against Texas. And I know that, Semien has been garbage and the Texas lineup hasn't been as great as it is, but I don't know what the pitch count's going to be on him. He's made a couple of minor league starts, which has been nice. But yeah, I kind of worry about that. Harrison coming off the IL. I guess Suarez, do you like Suarez at all against Oakland because Oakland's trash?
Yeah. I mean, I think between him and Thorpe, we're going to get pretty high ownership. Just the field picking one of the two. My only thing with Suarez is he has been teetering on impossible maintain. Like the stats are just almost impossible to maintain when you look at like all the peripheral numbers, the hard hit rate, the xFIP, the BABIP. Like he is one of the luckier pitchers in baseball, and We saw it in the Houston start, 10 hits, 13 base runners, 5 earned. And then he faces Texas and he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, only 2 strikeouts, but no like 3 hits." It's just like, is that going to rear its head against Oakland? They're so bad, right? They have the highest strikeout rate against right-handed pitching since June 1st and second in the league. So, yeah, if you want to get to Suarez, I don't fault you for it, but like it's scary because there's the roof is going to collapse eventually, and then the floodgates are going to open. So I prefer Thorpe to Suarez, but like
Ooh.
Suarez is because even Thorpe, like obviously higher prospect, better prospect overall, probably even a better overall matchup just considering where Miami's offense has been, and they're striking out just so much compared to what they were earlier in the year. So I lean Thorpe. He's cheaper as well. Nothing else really standing out though.
Yeah, no, me neither. Thorpe is as low as I'll go there. Listen, I'm just, Harris Suarez for me, I'm with you. I'm not that high on him.
Nope.
It's like it's like an ugly hitter who plays for the Rockies. He
Right.
gets that second look if he's in Coors Field.
Yep.
Right? That's the only
Yep.
reason that you look at him again is
Yep.
because it's Coors. The only reason that you take that second glance at Suarez because it is against Oakland. So yeah, I'm fine avoiding that. Thorpe, Reagan's, build a nice little lineup, a little 20 lineup with that pairing there. So let's go to catcher. Again, a position that we traditionally like to, John and I usually like to pay down. You seem to be on board with that. Is there anybody, if you're thinking about paying up, is there anybody in particular who like really stands out for you?
Salvi. I mean, Salvi against Freeland and Coors
Mm-hmm.
would be my first and probably last answer. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Rutschman gets a lefty. We know how good Rutschman's been against lefties this year. So those two guys, I know Rutschman's been struggling, but I don't think we need to. Like, so has David Fry. He's been good against lefties, but I don't think we want to pay 5,400 for David Fry. Elias Diaz, we like Reagan's. I don't think it needs to. We don't need to go there. So it would be Salvi or Rutschman if we're spending up for me.
Okay, yeah, Rutschman, I'm always in on. Like it's so funny. Like even Sal Perez, I'm like, do I really want to pay that much for Sal Perez? Right? Like it's always like, I don't know, man. I always feel like maybe it's past history with using him in DFS or whatever, and the injury history that Salvi always has. He always seems to like foul a ball off the top of his foot,
Even though
right?
he has the pad, even though he has the
Yeah,
leg
every
pad
time I
there.
play him and he like grabs his ankle, and the next thing you know, it's a precautionary move. We're gonna take him out of the game. Rutschman, listen, man, Rutschman, I'll use all day, every day. Very happy to, indeed. Middle tier there, obviously you can kind of mix and match depending on what your budget is. I can't again. There's nothing that really like stands out at me. There's no catcher like who's sitting there at like a particularly great value that I
Jeffers.
like. I know if John were here, he'd be like, be like Connor Wong gets the lefty. Connor Wong gets the lefty.
I mean, I'd be okay getting to in the mid tier like Ryan Jeffers at 44, coming off of
Okay.
the Behemoth game. He gets Sean Dubin, so that's a pretty good spot. Furman is a good lefty catcher, lefty hitting catcher, 3,900. That's actually, you talk about Salvi. If you want to play a Kansas City catcher under $4,000, Freddie Furman hits lefties well. He also has a double dong on his ledger this year against Oakland. So
Okay. So
maybe
yeah, I'd pay down to get that Coors Field
agreed.
share. I'd
Agreed.
as down for Furman as long as he's in the lineup. I mean, he's obviously gonna, if he's DHing or playing first or something like that.
What about
Okay.
punts here? Any punts?
Punts that like kind of stand out. Listen, I'll always give Austin Wells a look. I don't mind him. I don't, it's kind of funny. I guess Rortvet against a righty in
Yep.
Lorenzen. I think
Yep.
I kind of lean there.
Me too. He has been. I'll say it. Salute to Ben Rortvedt. He has been super good of late. He is very productive. 333, almost an 1100 OPS in his last 10 games. That is
Yeah.
a pretty good price tag for a guy at hitting that well.
Yeah, we should probably just lock him in right
Yeah, I mean,
now.
13 ribbies and 6 extra base hits for Ben
Yeah.
Forfeit. Where was this when he was a Yankee? Yeah, let's go to first. Right.
Moving
Yeah.
on to first base. All right, top of the heap here, obviously. So Aaron Savali making his Milwaukee debut in Dodger Stadium. So obviously Otani, Freeman definitely are in play here.
Yep.
We could go Salvi Perez if you wanted to go like a Furman Perez Royals stack and get yourself a little something something there. I don't know, top tier here, 5,000 or more. I mean, I guess Christian Walker is kind of where I'd lean maybe against Vasquez.
Yes. I was just looking at Vasquez, or I was just looking at Walker for the Thursday slate. So the data is fresh in my mind. He has started to hit righties really well since June 1st. Arizona in general, top 10 team in baseball in basically every offensive category. Christian Walker, 200 plus ISO against righties. The power has been on full display. And Vasquez has incredibly horrible splits against lefties. But he's also doesn't miss bats. And if you don't miss Arizona's bat, I mean, you're in trouble with all the power that they have. So I think Walker for me. I'm also as Aaron Savali truther and believer in all the peripheral stats. Super sad that this was the start that he gets traded, and especially in weekly leagues, Howard, where he wasn't a Milwaukee Brewer to start the week, and then hey, welcome to the team. You get to face the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Dude, I think his next start comes in Coors Field too.
Awesome. It's so fun. I'm having so much fun. It was not this. I'll tell you that. It was not this.
It was not this. Further down here, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Always a nice little threat. Luis Castillo's just been a freaking gas can, so I don't mind using Blue Jays against him there. You could go with a little Ryan Mountcastle, right? Doesn't he always seem to have the double dong power here, even against a guy like Hogan Harris? I feel like Mountcastle, I feel like, like an Orioles stack might be a nice little lean here. And I don't dislike Harris. I just think that, this Orioles lineup is better than how it's been playing lately. I know that they've been kind of on the struggle bus a little bit lately, but I'm still into them.
Yeah, top 5 in every offensive category as a team against lefties,
including nose hair.
Including nose hairs. Do they have a big nose hair team?
Dude, come on, man. It was an old Bob Uecker line from Major League. This guy's leading the league in most offensive categories, including nose hair.
Great movie. That's just the brain.
Oh, my God. You know what? Back to first base. I can't even talk to you anymore now. Now you just disgust me. You disgust me.
Sorry.
I'm horrified.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. Do you love the Twins bats against against Dubin as much as John loves the Twins bats against Dubin?
I love Twins bats against anybody, Howard. It does not. I mean, did we see what the Twins did on Thursday? How can you not love the Twins bats?
You know what? That reminds me. How much is Brooks Lee on this slate? Oh, he's $2,000 again.
He's still
He's $2,000.
Okay. Well, let's just get that out of the way.
Just put him in there too. Just lock him in.
Well, hold on. That is interesting though. Was shortstop eligible his first couple slates? They have now moved his eligibility third. Obviously,
better.
That was obviously going to be the case because he obviously took Royce Lewis' position. But interesting to see.
This is a great pay down. This is a great pay down.
Here's the reason I'm bringing that up is because I'm a Jose Miranda versus a righty truther. And he is Jose Miranda has a 900 OPS, 200 ISO, coming off 5 for 5 on.
Is he only third base eligible now?
Yes, they took his first base eligibility away. Yep. Over the last couple days.
Oh, they're really screwing us over here on our Twins then.
Yeah, so
John and I put together a 5 twin stack for the July 4th slate.
Quite a profitable approach, I'd say. 13 runs and a 7 in 7 and a half innings or six
Dude,
and a half innings there. Not too bad.
unbelievable.
But yeah, so we're gonna have to we'll pause when we get to third, but yeah, gonna have to make a decision there. But obviously this is not the positive side of the split for
Yeah,
Santana,
yeah.
but
No, it hurts me that I don't want to go Santana. I
because
want,
you were hoping we'd get to Miranda down here and be just
yeah.
easy plug. Yeah.
Right now, they're making it difficult on us now.
Yes,
All right,
they
so
are.
who are the other pay downs? Where are we looking? As far as first base goes, a little further down the list here. Andrew Vaughn hitting well.
Yep.
Hoeing. I don't know if Hoeing's going to be the primary though. I don't know how long he's going to go. If you don't believe in Shane Baz, or if you don't believe in the bullpen for the Tampa Bay Rays, you got a nice, good group of lefty Texas Rangers bats. Nathaniel
Yes.
Lowe is a possibility in there, and then if you wanted to like stack them up with like Josh Smith, stack them up with Corey Seager, I think those are all definitely options. So I'll give Nathaniel Lowe.
Yeah, he did. Do you remember that that was randomly changed in like the middle of last year or the year prior? Because he was definitely Nate Lowe. That was a Mandela effect for sure.
Yeah, it's
Middle of the
always
season.
great as fantasy sites have to constantly go back and like change his
Right.
name and player ID so that he gets all the data provided.
Right, right. He has been pretty good, so I'll give you Nathaniel Lowe for sure. They won't have JD Davis in the lineup. Where's our boy here? Ben Rice. That was the
29.
next guy I was going to go to. I thought it was a very telling sign of where the Yankees are and where they view how much they like Ben Rice to lead him off on the Thursday slate. And obviously, like anybody hitting in front of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge is going to see pitches to hit. And I know Houck has been really good. But if Rice is going to lead off, we saw the home run. We've seen a lot of extra base hits since being called up. He is a great eye. He's always on base. I do think at 2,800, it'd be if you wanted to like seize on the Tanner Houck struggles possibly, and the potential that maybe he does get lit up again, well, that Ben Rice 2,900 makes sense.
Ben Rice 2,900 makes sense. All right, listen, man, I'm not gonna hate on that at all. Let's move it over to second base. $2,900 Ben Rice, $2,000 Brooks Lee. All right, Michael Garcia sitting up at the top there. Obviously, if you're getting some Coors exposure and you want to go up against Freeland like that, that's fine. Pablo Lopez seems to maybe be turning it around a little bit, so I don't necessarily know if I want to pay up for Altuve. Nola Albies, yeah, it doesn't turn me on. Ketel Marte against Vasquez. I know he's not a lefty, but again, I don't mind it.
Yeah, he is. Oh,
What?
you're saying Randy Vasquez.
Yeah, Randy Vasquez is a lefty.
Well, inside joke. John may or may not have known Ketel Marte has been a switch hitter his whole life. So I was like, don't tell me you don't know this.
Right,
either.
but aren't his numbers as a right-handed bat against lefty pitchers is better?
Correct. Sorry, I was just shook that almost a second person didn't know Ketel Marte was a switch hitter. That was where my brain went. I know, Howard. I should have known better. I'm sorry.
Man.
I should have known better. I'm sorry.
What's up with you?
It's like my third apology of the night. Okay, I'm sorry. Vasquez has really struggled with lefties, so I'm perfectly fine getting to Marte. He's been better. He's been better against righties. So also interesting to see Michael Garcia with second base eligibility. Just gonna throw that out there too.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, listen, they keep moving dudes around all over the place. I'm like, it just doesn't
make sense.
It's frustrating sometimes, James. It's frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It sure is.
But all right, DFS sites, do what you will. Further down the list here, Bryce Terang. I'm sure lefty bats against Buehler are going to be a nice little popular one here to go up on the other side there. Semion's been trash. I don't want to use him. Jimenez against Harrison. I like Kyle Harrison, but it is his first start since coming off the IL. So I don't know if you want to do that, or you could just do the John and Pemba default and just go directly to Willie Castro.
If it says Twins, we're in.
Dude, I think I'm trying to think. Are there players? Can we build a lineup of just players that John always uses, like Connor Wong behind the plate?
Yeah.
Like who's his
Lamonte Wade. Lamonte Wade.
Oh, Lamont.
Lamonte Wade.
Willie Castro be at
Willie
second.
Castro. I mean, we would have to go Miranda at third. We wouldn't be able to play
Josh Smith.
Brooks
He's a
Lee.
big Josh Smith guy too.
Oh, true. I think he also lost his shortstop belt. Nope, got his shortstop. We could play him at short. And then who do we got in the outfield? He always plays. I mean, he always plays Ohtani. That's easy. If we
Jaron Duran is a must for him these days.
Jaron Duran. Who else does he? Then Twins. Just find some Twins, and he'll plug in more.
Twins. He'll be like he's wearing a Trevor Larnach jersey right now.
He's probably got the Manuel Margot jersey on, going to bed tonight.
All right, so I'll get us back on track here. Willie Castro, Jimenez in the middle tier there.
Horwitz.
Yeah, I mean, how's he been the last 10 games? Has he been okay? I mean, I know he's just coming off of a good day, but
not a lot of power. He's just good hitter. But
yeah.
You mentioned Luis Castillo struggles, and the Blue Jays lineup in general have been like, as long as Bo Bichette's not there, they're great.
Yeah. Oh, IKF. Yeah, it's a shame he's on the IL. Yeah. Otherwise, John would have him locked into the lineup too.
He does love himself some IKF. Don't think we ever mentioned him during his Yankee years once, but oh boy, we're mentioning him every night on the
never heard of the Blue Jays so much. All right, let's see what else. Jonathan, India's been hot lately. That's a home game. Reese Olson sometimes good, sometimes bad. I don't necessarily want to go against Olson. I do like the game in Cincinnati. I just wish they weren't such crappy hitters on both sides. Besides Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah. I mean, the Reds did wake up a little bit. They did wake up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. Gleiber, looking further down the list. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be too many names that are popping out. You could go Colt Keith. He just hit a home run on the 4th of July. You got like that lefty bat in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't hate it. They've been hitting him second, and it's a good spot. Unfortunately, I hate that Detroit's in town, but that's definitely an interesting spot. I don't know if you saw Tampa led, and I think this has to do with Yandy Diaz getting a day off. But if Richie Palacios found himself leading off again at $3,200, I wouldn't hate that either. He led off. I know Lorenzen's been worse against righties, but he did actually allow a home run to a lefty his last time out. So
he's just a super hittable guy.
He is. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. Some bargain plays at second base. Moving over to the hot corner. This is going to be a fight. This is going to be an issue. I'm glad that Devers is going up against a lefty, so I don't have to worry about that. Although Alec Baum against a lefty, that's always a nice one there. Even though it is Max Fried, I don't know what the BVP looks like. I know you're a big BVP guy, so that joke never fails, man. Never fails. Who are you paying up for at the hot corner?
Not anyone with good BVP, I'll tell you that. I mean, Jose Ramirez has been amazing against left-handed pitching this year, so it would probably be Ramirez for me. Definitely okay getting to Bohm. Every time you look at Alec Bohm, you're like, why would I pay $5,500? And then you look at his numbers and you're like, oh yeah, he has like 70 RBIs in 80 games this year. He has been pretty incredible in the middle of that Philly lineup. So it would be both those guys. I will say I've liked what I've seen from Manny Machado of late. And he gets Cicone here. I don't hate that spot for Machado or the Padres in general. I know it's obviously not an ideal spot for hitting, but I would be okay getting to San Diego. And then Jordan Westberg, homered on Thursday, has been pretty good of late, and another guy who hits lefties well. So if we wanted to build a Baltimore stack as well.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that for sure. For sure. All right, middle of the road here at the third base position. Yeah, well, we talked. I mean, Josh Smith, the lefty against Shane Baz. We can
Yep.
also possibly use him at shortstop, which would be nice. I don't know,
Miranda.
anybody in
Just
the
go
mid
Miranda.
tier. What?
It's Miranda. It's got to be
It's
Miranda.
Miranda for you. It's Miranda or nothing.
Well, I legitimately think we've figured it out with Jose Miranda. I mean, we've gone years, right, thinking like, oh, he's been great at every stop in the minor leagues, can't figure it out in the majors. Well, he's suddenly hitting 312 this year, and when you look at his last 10 games, 470, 1200 OPS, 9 extra base hits, 22 runs and RBIs combined. I mean, he has been all that in a bag of chips. And you're talking about a guy with Royce Lewis out. We love chips hard, so I just
We
salute to
do.
us.
We do. Not going to deny it.
Without Royce Lewis, he's hitting in the middle of the lineup. And again, death taxes Jose Miranda against a righty this year. It's been so great, so nails. And this is my problem with like, I understand the Brooks Lee thing. He's 2K. You can save a lot of money getting to him, but Miranda right now, when you're talking about like upside, I think Miranda just has that trump card
Well,
over
he's got
Brooks
that. I
Lee.
mean, he's got that power
Yes.
upside that they definitely lack. They definitely lack. So I get it, man. I get it. I'm not going to argue against it. I think it's definitely a good spot for Miranda. No arguments against the player himself and what he's doing. Again, it's how are you building your lineup? Because
Right.
now what we're looking at here is DK changing the eligibility,
Agreed.
and the Miranda Lee little mini stack there doesn't get to work for us. So I'm fine with that. Further down, Noel V. Marte, does he intrigue you at all? I know he hasn't gotten off to the greatest of starts yet, but you could look in that direction, go down even further. I don't know, somehow Whit Merrifield's now a third baseman as well. What the hell is this, dude?
I am not too sure.
Like, am I crazy? Am I on glue?
I mean, I don't know. Either of those questions are unanswered at this point, but probably not going to play any of these guys because like 3,700 from Miranda or 2K for Brooks Lee just makes too much sense.
Okay. I'm in. I'm in, sir. There you go. That'll put us to shortstop. Our good friend Bobby Witt Jr. against Kyle Freeland in Coors Field.
I heard he's pretty good. I heard he's pretty good at baseball.
I've heard that he's got some skills.
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz, at home against Reese Olson.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might want to use him.
Ceiling. Massive ceiling.
You might. I wouldn't even hate on Trey Turner. So I think paying up at shortstop, if that's your bag, that's your bag. I have no problem doing that, especially if you're going to load up on these Royals bats in Coors Field against Kyle Freeland. I'm okay there. Further down, Correa has definitely been turning it up a lot more lately. I like that. Corey Seager, left-handed bat, going up against Shane Baz. It's a shame that this game is in Dodger Stadium and not Milwaukee. I would have loved Willie Adames at home against Buehler, but
yeah, he's
where are you looking mid-tier here? Or below the 6K. This isn't mid-tier. Sorry, my bad.
Below 6,000. I mean, Correa 52, probably the highest I'd pay for him. I do think Ha-Seong Kim is a little bit interesting with a righty on the mound. I know the lefties have been notoriously what he's hit, but this year that has not been the case. Josh Smith, we mentioned. I don't think there's anything else like necessarily in the mid tier. I think in the value section, Ceddanne Rafaela would be someone that stands out. I mean, he obviously goes through waves. He's a rookie, like every rookie, but man, his ceiling is crazy because he just has these monster games where he has a couple double home run games. He has a home run stolen base game on his, like he has like a couple 4-hit games. He is a super high upside play at 3,600 against Nestor. So Rafaela stands out like a sore thumb for me.
Rafaela stands out like a turd in a punch bowl, they say, James, like a turd in a punch bowl.
That would stand out, yes.
All right.
I don't know who has punch bowls anymore, but if there were punch bowls,
listen, you know what? When your kids are older and you start having to deal with like the junior high school dance, guess what? Guess what?
Punch bowl?
Yeah. Punch bowl. Kids spiking the punch bowl. Come on.
Yeah, see, this is why they don't have punch bowls anymore, Howard.
All right. Okay, so that's where you want to go for shortstop. You're either going to pay down there or you're going to just buy one of the big boys.
Yeah, I think the best approach is to spend up with the names that we have. But if I were to sit on Rafaela, would be the guy I'd spend up.
Okay, and in that middle range there, I still like Josh Smith. I think he's definitely a usable character. I just clicked the wrong button on my screen here, so I'm gonna have to go by your screen. Let's go to the outfield. Let's talk about up top. I mean, again, there's one. Oh, thank you for making it bigger.
No problem.
Right? Did you see me like getting close? I'm like, hey, what's what?
No, but I tried to get it before you got to your nose in front of the screen, so I tried my best.
I got like my font on my computer right now. It's like the E on the doctor's eye chart. Like that's the font.
Looks like my dad's text messaging, Howard. That's what it looks like.
128 point.
Does this thing go up any higher? It's 128 the max.
It's killing me. It's killing me. All right, let's go to the outfield. Let's talk about who we like. We can definitely go with Ohtani if you like, but Juan Soto against Tanner Houck. Why wouldn't you? Especially if Ben Rice is going to be leading off. Why don't you stack a pair of lefties there against Tanner Houck?
Yeah, and Soto would have double donged, but he had a home run robbed by Will Benson in his first at bat on Thursday, or we would have seen 2 Juan Soto home runs. And coincidentally enough, Michael Kay was talking about how badly Will Benson plays defense while he robbed the home run. So salute to Michael Kay for that one.
The irony. Jaron Duran, not as high on him against the lefty Cortez, but Christian Yelich, I'm obviously super high. Oh, did they just make a change? Refresh. If you were to refresh your screen, it now says Glass now. It does not say Walker Buehler. Very interesting.
Let's reload this screen. Oh, yep. All right, we're out on all things Milwaukee. See you later,
out on Milwaukee. All things Milwaukee. Bye.
See, Milwaukee. Salute to you. Good luck.
Go back to the pitching here. How much is Glass now?
He is 10-8. He is $1,200 more than any other pitcher.
All right, not doing that. Nope, never mind. I got a great lineup for you after this. So
I'm excited.
Let's cruise through the mid tier. I refuse to pay $5,500 for Stephen Kwan. I refuse to do it.
Agreed.
I'm happy to go with any of these mid tier bats depending on your stack. If you wanted to use Ozuna or Teoscar. Teoscar against Savali, not terrible. Jordan Alvarez against Lopez. It's not a great matchup, but you can sure kind of take a look at it. I feel like it's more. There might be some more mid-tier look in here than upper tier for me. I don't know. Do you like any of these mid-tier guys?
This guy on the screen right here. This is my guy.
Santander
against a lefty. Forget it. This guy, I think. If you just look at like the last 3 years, he is like the most slept on fantasy asset in the game. In terms of
very, very underrated. Yeah, nobody likes him. Nobody likes him in fantasy either. Like, you talk about like a fantasy draft and like, in an auction, and Santander goes for significantly less than other players.
Why? He hits 35 home runs and 100 RBIs.
Nobody believed in it.
Well, you know what? He hit 13 home runs in June. I'd be hard pressed to not play Santander at 48 against a lefty. He is a absolute lefty killer. So that's my guy in this tier for for sure.
That's your guy in that tier. I'm good with that. I'm definitely good with that. Middle of the road here. Adalis Garcia against Boz. I don't mind that. Obviously, Buxton will get that nod for John. We'll talk Minnesota. I love Jerks and Profar.
Love him. So
I
good.
really do.
Yep, I'm so happy for him.
I think I'm happy for him too, actually. It's just taken forever to make it happen. So I'm definitely in on using Profar. I'm also very, very in on his teammate, actually, right now
Oh my
against
God.
Slade Ciccone. Thank you.
Dude, this kid is I'm way underweight in him in fantasy, and I regret every second of it.
I mean, I've been kind of going off about Jackson Merrill because when you look at his numbers, like go to his Fangraphs page and go look at his monthly splits, because you're talking about a kid who surprised everyone, took that spot coming out of spring training, hit like 275 or something like that in the first month of the season, some stolen bases, just really good, just good overall play. Then in May, it was pretty much the same thing, right? It was like 278 average, just good mid-range numbers, nothing outlandish. And then boom, June hit. And then the power just completely blossomed. What do you have? 7 home runs in the month of June?
Yep.
I mean, and the best part about it was, and the point that I like always harp on, is that not only did he power up, but he did not sacrifice plate discipline.
No.
Batting average the same, swing rates the same, not like jumping up, spiking in strikeouts or anything like that. So I'm a huge Jackson Merrill guy. Huge Jackson Merrill guy.
Agreed. And we talked about it. He homers, his power plays against lefties and righties. So no matter what the matchup, and Ciccone is not a good matchup. He's not a good pitcher. He's gonna crush him.
No, but I do love the name, right? Slade Ciccone.
Yeah, it's a solid name. It needs to be attached to a better pitcher, and that's the unfortunate part for him.
A little further down the list here, my intention immediately goes to $4,000 Wyatt Langford. Oh, you go to Hunter Renfroe, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy that's kind of heating up, good against lefties,
Getting that Coors exposure.
And we get the Freeland matchup. I don't hate the Wyatt Langford call either at all. I just saw 4,100 for Renfroe and Coors, and we know what the power plays, and the power plays everywhere.
All right. Listen, I'm not going to argue against that. Listen, I do love what Langford's been doing. He's, consecutive, the streak that he's on right now is absolutely fantastic. He's hitting the ball real well. But yeah, I get it there. Okay. It's so funny. I have $100 in my lineup, like left over in my lineup, which means that I can go from Langford to Renfroe and just give you your Coors exposure. This lineup, James, you're gonna love this. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Well, let's hear it. We'll run out. Let's just rattle off a couple like sub 4K. Like Springer, I think, is in play against Castillo.
Yes, definitely.
He seemingly is back. I don't want to call him all the way back, but he's been great. Freeman hits lefties pretty well, 3,700 against Kyle Harrison coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You get Josh Lowe has obviously hit the ground running since coming off the IL. He gets Lorenzen. He's been good.
Yep. Churio. Oh, no. It's Glass now. That's right. Never mind.
Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore. Kauser won't be in the lineup. Jose Siri only really hits lefties. Martini homered off Stroman. He is like
the day after I played him. The day after I played Nick Martini in a DFS lineup, because there was no other option because I wanted my lineup so badly. I was like, screw it. I'll throw in Nick Martini, who went over.
Feels bad. Feels bad. Talked about Palacios 33. If he leads off, that would be a little bit interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Al Thomas being back is a little bit interesting. I know he wasn't great pre-IL stint, but Randy Vasquez is that bad against left-handed bats. So
he definitely is.
If you want to punt and possibly get an Arizona stack, but I don't think there's anything else punt related, Howard. I don't know if you have anything.
No, I don't really have anything like that too far down that I would really need. Again, there's so many other places to get value, whether it's
Agreed.
using a guy like Brooks Lee or whether it's using a guy like Ben Rice, paying down for Rortvet, behind the plate. There are just so many options there. So
Let's hear the
let's
line.
do.
Let's hear the line.
Here
Let's
you
hear the
go,
line.
baby. Here you go. So go to your pitchers and give yourself Tanner Bybee,
Okay. Love that.
right? And give yourself Cole Reagans.
That's kind of what I kind of figured that's where we were going.
Well, then let's see. See if you can guess who we're going to play. At catcher, James, we're going to use
Rortvet.
Good job. Good job. At first base, James. First base. Uh-oh.
First base. This one's a tough one.
Where are we going?
Initially, I want to say I want to say Mountcastle would be the play, or Christian Walker if we're spending all the way up.
Yeah, wow. If we only were. Now this lineup probably only works if he's leading off. But get yourself a little Ben Rice in there.
Oh, yes. Okay. I like that.
Get yourself a little Ben Rice. Okay. All right.
I like that.
Second base. We'll do a little nod to John Impemba, right? Because the day after he goes 0 for 5, in a day where the Twins score 12 runs and Willie Castro goes 0 for 5, I automatically have to go back to the well and get him in there. And just in case he sucks, get Juan Miranda in there at third base and just, like a little mini stack of these Twins.
Okay.
All right. At shortstop, my friend, we're going to go with our good friend Josh Smith in the middle of the road. In the outfield, give me Juan Soto. Come on. Somebody's got to drive Ben Rice in all those times. All right. And then here we go. You already know one of the outfielders who I said. I said I could pay up instead of Langford. I could give you your Coors exposure.
So you had Langford, 4,300. So you played Jackson.
No, Langford was, I don't know. Scroll down. No, take Langford out. Well, but you got it anyway. But there's your $100.
I know. Well, I was looking originally. I was thinking Profar, but when I saw 4,300, I was like, So we have 100 left. Can't be Profar. It's got to be Jackson Merrill especially after how much Howard.
There you go. Now go ahead. You can tuck in your boy Hunter Renfroe. You could tuck in Wyatt Langford over there. Now here's the fun stuff, right? Because we're paying up at the pitching spot here.
Yep.
You could pay down if with either one of those starters and then beef up either like a guy like Ben Rice or get yourself a high-end shortstop, one of the top guys over there. I think is a possibility. Like if you were to pay down from just say Reagans to, if you're going to pay down from Reagans to Thorpe.
Yeah.
All right. Then you could probably take that 1,200. Where are you going at short? Can you get that at short? You probably can.
We can get the Seager.
No. All right. You know what? Yeah. I was going to say you take Soto out, spend down a little bit,
I like that. I actually kind of like that, I think, because I think shortstop is,
it's just too beefy a position here.
What if we did that?
Oh.
And then we get Ellie, or we're 100 off Witt. So if we went back to Wyatt Langford, we could go. It's Renfroe. It's Renfroe, De La Cruz, or Langford Witt.
Why don't you could take out Jackson Merrill?
Oh, and do it too. Oh, I see.
Show it to me, baby. Come on. There it is.
Yeah. Now we get the 2-man Renfroe, Bobby Witt in Coors.
Look at that shit.
With Santander, the lefty masher. I like this lineup. I like this lineup a lot.
Well, there you have it, sports fans. Howard Bender, James Grande, the working minds going through here. Big old juicy July 5th, 12-game main slate. Your example lineup here with all sorts of twists and turns we gave you, right? You could go with my Bybee, Reagans, Rortvet, Rice, Castro, Miranda, Smith, Soto, Merrill, Renfroe, or you pay down at that pitching spot here. Bybee, Thorpe, Rotford, Ben Rice, Castro, Miranda, gets us Bobby Witt, Santander, Renfro, Langford. That, my friends, is an absolute tasty cake, and that is going to do it for us here on the show. We thank everybody for tuning in. Don't worry, you'll get your playbook and your props and all the other fun stuff there. More importantly, guys, if you don't subscribe to Fantasy Alarm, allow me to just kind of show you this here for a second. Let me move us around here a little bit, James, and just kind of position it. FantasyAlarm.com/win, promo code Let's Go, or zap this QR code for us here. Right, that'll get you the monthly. The promo code Let's Go will take 50% off your first month. So not only do you get all the betting and all the DFS work here for baseball and finish off the baseball season strong with us, right? But now you're also getting the Fantasy Alarm Fantasy Football Draft Guide, all the cheat sheets and everything else coming up there. So major discounted price, getting the monthly. It's FantasyAlarm.com/win, promo code Let's Go. If you're only interested in the draft guide, which I don't know why you would only be interested in the draft guide, but I'm just going to throw it out there for you anyway. FantasyAlarm.com/draft gets you our draft guide. So that's going to do it for us here on the show. We thank everybody for tuning in. James, any final thoughts?
No, not much. Just go buy your draft guides and have a lot of fantasy football success this season.
Come join the family, baby. Hang out with us in Discord. Happy to chat it up with you. For James Grande, I'm Howard Bender. This has been the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS show. We'll catch you next time.